This video is about the Six Moons Designs Lunar Solo trekking pole tent. Great tent. I've used it a few times. Relatively new. I'm not going to review the tent itself, but there's actually, when I was buying the tent, there was something that I struggled with a little bit, and found a way to address it that I figured I'd share with folks in case it's helpful. So one of the things that I like to do after coming back from camping is make sure that I'm able to set my tent up in the garage to let it dry, or to fix any seams, or really just get in and be able to clean it out while it's actually stood up. But of course, because it's a trekking pole tent, you can't set it up in a garage very easily. And so typically people will just hang them up, but then that doesn't allow you to get inside of it and do anything you might need to do. So what I did, it's very simple, so this is not rocket science, but I figured I'd share it nonetheless, is that I've got the classic two-car garage that is commonly very dirty, that you would expect with a normal garage these days. And one of my objectives is I wanted to make sure that I was able to leave room that my wife could still get in the garage, and I would only use up half of the garage for doing this. So really what I ended up doing was, in order to create a freestanding tent in the garage, I created a PVC frame. And I'll set it up here in just a second, as well as I have all of the kind of design and supplies here. We'll hit on this in a bit, but what you can see essentially is that what I wanted to be able to do was create a frame that you can set the tent up inside of, and hook to in the appropriate ways. And so what I'll share here is what the materials that are used and roughly how much it cost. So let me go ahead and set it up, and I'll be right back. Okay, the tent is up. You can see, fairly straightforward, just like it was in the picture. It's set up inside of the PVC frame, so I'll kind of show you what's going on down here. So, just put together with the regular the T's and elbow brackets that we might have. And just very simply, you can see that I drilled holes and tied some string to it. And I put a carabiner on here to attach to the straps just because it's easy, but really unnecessary. You could just as easily have just used the string itself, tied a bow around it, keep it simple, and then you go around and just kind of clip out each of the edges, right? One there, and then of course there's a spot in the back, and then the two on the other side, and then finally where the vestibule comes out, you can see that there's actually a little T you can see in here, where you kind of tee out and hook to a carabiner out here. Once again, just the hole has been drilled on the side, and then hooked up to the tent. And let's see. So let's talk a little bit about what materials. So the overall cost probably about, I don't know, maybe $40 or so in the PVC materials. Let's take a look at the design itself. Okay, pretty simple. You can see that there's the blue line is where the PVC pipes are. I did use 1.5 inch. You probably could go a little bit lighter than the 1.5, maybe 1.25, maybe 1 inch. But I want to be careful not, particularly right here in the middle, when there's pressure that's pulling on both sides here. Didn't want the PVC to bow too much. I found that the 1.5 actually doesn't bow really at all, and it worked out just fine. So what I ended up buying was 4 10-foot pieces of PVC pipe, 4 PVC elbows, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 elbows, a PVC T right here, and then a straight connector right here, which is really just so that when you have this 10-foot stretch back here, so that you can break it apart and store it. So I made 2 5-foot pieces, 2 5-foot pieces here, and then on the side here, there's a 63-inch pole that I found was just the right size there. And then about 4 inches in, I drilled the first hole, and then about 10 inches from the back, I drilled this hole here. Roughly in the middle, put one here, and then put another hole right here for tying the strings off. And you can see in here, then you also would need, I put some string in here. You can figure that ultimately out yourself. And so yeah, so pretty straightforward, and has worked out pretty well. So one other idea, of course, now that you're just using these PVC, there's the potential it's almost like Legos, right? So another thing that I ended up doing was I created a PVC extension. You can see it's just a little elbow with a PVC pole that you can actually then stick wherever you might need to. Bear with me a second. And then the advantage of having this then is that, you know, if you're worried about pulling into the garage, it just kind of essentially gives you the ability to have maybe a little pole there, so that as you're pulling into the garage, you know, okay, well, how much room you have, a little bit clearance. Once again, just for simplicity, certainly not necessary. Similarly, you can see here that I actually put a T on here for the same reason that I could put a another pole that would actually stick up here, but they don't have one there at the moment as well. So anyways, hope this is helpful, and enjoy.